All right, looks like we're starting. Looks like John started a little later than pollsmor did. I don't think that's gonna be too big of a problem though. John is the better player here. I think he has a time that's about a minute better than pollsmor. So not much is gonna happen for the first few minutes. You're gonna go for the double in about a minute, and I think that's probably when interesting things are going to start happening. Looks like John got the bad pattern there, but oh wow, the sinkage is real. It's pretty sick. A little sloppy from both players there. So they are in perfect sync again, even despite making different weird mistakes. I think John's playing on a different computer now, so he has lag that might be a little different than he's used to. Looks like John got the double. pollsmor missed it, but fortunately he didn't get bad orange. It's going to give John a bit of a lead. I think it's like 4 seconds or so. So they're going to come up to the hive room, which is another big thing early on. The strategy they use is fairly consistent, but it's not 100% consistent. Things could go wrong there, so. Looks a little weird going under, but he's trying to lure out the bugs there, and not having the bugs in the way really helps. You get all of your shots in clean. Looks like John's the first person to bomb. Bombs are pretty important to bomb jump and to break some obstacles. But bomb jumping is going to be a really important part of the early game here. We go to Kraid right away because we want speed booster, and to do Kraid early, you have to do a bunch of bomb jumps. So they are going to avoid going to the top of Brinstar early. It is possible to do that, but it's trickier. You can make mistakes doing that, and they cost a lot of time. So they're just going to be doing the easy route. The disadvantage is that the missile count is tight, so they might not get enough, and that could slow them down, but it's not usually a problem. John's start is looking pretty solid. pollsmor is looking a little shaky, but he never practices. He could be a lot better if he actually sat down and played the game in practice, but he doesn't do it. So his time is fairly good considering the amount of effort he put into it. John obviously put a lot more effort into this game. I think more than he'd like, if I recall what he's told me correct. But John's going to enter at 5:44. That's a pretty respectable enter. And pollsmor's time is going to be nearly 6 minutes, I think. Even with bad luck, that is just a result of mostly poor gameplay, honestly. Looks like both of them have good missile count, so they shouldn't have any troubles with killing the side hoppers later on. pollsmor. It could be a little finicky getting that bomb into the cannon. If you're just a little too high, it won't register, and you have to do it again, and it looks stupid. John got a pretty clean acid worm fight there. It's a pretty easy fight, but you don't. If you tank a few missiles, it can go really wrong. pollsmor's missile count is really low. Oh my god, that's really. So he only has 5 missiles, and he's gonna need 3 drops to get enough for the side hopper. He had a really good missile count. I don't know what happened there, honestly. He should have had more. I don't know. John is at a very comfortable amount. He can actually burn a few missiles, and it's going to save him a little bit of time. Wait, no. Never mind. I'm dumb. He did have to use some. I don't know what. This is a case of commentator stupidity. I don't know. But John has enough missiles, and pollsmor's in really bad shape, right? And the game's still trolling him. That's great. Ooh, a little bit of movement found on the first I've seen so far. So pollsmor is going to have to hope for that double missile drop, which isn't entirely. pollsmor not using the charge beam effectively there. Maybe not used to or something. And he gets 2 missiles. Okay. That could have been really bad if he didn't get any. This fight against the second side hopper takes so long without missile. That was a really bad heel glitch attempt by John. That was ridiculously poor. Oh my god, that was hilarious. I don't go for it, so I would never get laughed at like that. I don't know if pollsmor got it. I went for it. I didn't catch it, but he obviously didn't get it. All right, John coming up to the grade fight. Ideally, kill it in 2 rounds without falling off the platform. John has gotten a lot better at it in recent years, so we'll see what happens. Going for single missiles. Wood tier. This is really bad. Yeah, obviously John has problems with this fight sometimes. That was not good. Let's see if pollsmor can get it better. That was how the fight should look. So pollsmor is going to save quite a bit of time over John. Oh my god, man. That was so bad on John's part. And it's not just that the fight went badly. He lost a lot of missiles too, and John is known to skip the heal. I'm not sure. It might be a little trickier to skip the heal now, but I'm not sure. We'll see. So earlier, pollsmor just had movement that wasn't very good. You know, made some mistakes, things like that. He had bad bugs, but that wasn't the bulk of it. pollsmor messed up the shine spark upwards or something. That loses a lot of time. I made that mistake yesterday, actually, so it can happen. Oh, John got the frame perfect, the pixel perfect shot. That's sick. That is so sick. It does not happen very often. I'm glad I caught that. I don't. It's hard to watch 2 streams at once sometimes. pollsmor, if you weren't listening to commentary, maybe you wouldn't be so distracted. And pollsmor going for the slower shine spark there. Platforming is a little better. It's like 30 frames or something. Oh, I didn't notice that, Nick. That's a good question. I don't know. Oh, okay. John paused his timer by mistake. Nice job, John. John messed up the spark there. That saves a little bit of time, but it's not really a huge deal. So John gets to Norfair in under 14 minutes, which is pretty good. Oh, he paused his timer. Never mind. I don't even know anymore. Doug Polk, I'm not sure. It's hard to sleep and play the game at the same time, so I'm not sure how they're doing it. John likes to go for this stupid bomb strat. Let's see if he goes for it here. That was a terrible attempt. It's really, really difficult to make that even faster for real time. The time it takes to react to getting the bomb is the time it takes to lose. This time save, it is really. So John's gonna go for a JBJ here, and looks like he got it. Nice. That saves like 3.5 seconds or so. I don't think pollsmor goes for it, so that's some more time save John's gonna have over pollsmor. Yeah, pollsmor goes for the nice and simple way of doing it. Oh, he messed it up. What? How does that happen? He just didn't press. Yeah, that loses quite a bit of time. John messed up the bomb jump, which only loses like 2 seconds. It's still nothing compared to what pollsmor lost. So I'm pretty sure John's going to have a very comfortable lead. So going through Norfair, John is going to be doing an alternate route compared to pollsmor. And this route skips a heated room for later, which allows him to skip a heal, potentially. So he's going to go to high jump first instead of ice beam. The route looks really awkward. You go down and you go all the way back up, but it doesn't lose any time. It's a good route. And it avoids door transitions. That's why it's not any slower. Yeah, you're gonna see that pollsmor is gonna go back through this room later, and it looks weird if you're looking for it, honestly. John getting the 2-frame size storage. So it's about half a second. It's not that important, honestly. It's a lot more important on hard mode, where the enemy patterns there are a little different. My best time is unrecorded. Doug Polk is my hero. It's a 109.59. My best recorded time is a 110, which I never submitted because I was just complaining the whole run about how bad it was. So it looks like John's health is pretty good here. We'll see if he goes for the heal skip. And he does. His missile count is low. It might get better. I don't remember. It's been a while. Yeah, so you see pollsmor going back through here. John doesn't have to go through this room twice with his row. So since John is skipping the heal, he is going to have to be careful not to make any platforming errors in the next few rooms. Because the health is tight. It's not unbelievably tight, but if you make too many mistakes, you're just dead. Looks like he is making some small movement errors. Hopefully they don't cost him too much. In this room in particular, it can be a little annoying because if you go too slowly, you get hit by enemies. But the mistake that he made didn't seem to cost him. That's one of the things about Zero Mission. Enemies are still moving off screen, so if you mess up movement earlier on, it can cost you later on because the enemies are in spots that are just... So I think pollsmor tried to jump over the enemy there. Oh, it looks like he healed earlier, so he's going to want to skip this heal. I guess that's why he did it. So pollsmor is going to have similar health concerns to John at this point. It shouldn't be too big of a deal, as with John, because he has a little more health, but you still want to be careful. Dying here would be pretty sad. Oh, John made a mistake there. So he meant to do the 2-frame shine storage. Now he's going to have to do an alternate route. Usually you'd grab this missile later and you'd go downwards through Norfair, through the middle. But since he made this mistake, he's going to have to use the sequence. It loses maybe, I want to say, 3 to 5 seconds the way he did it. If you don't go for it, it's a lot faster, obviously, and you just do this route naturally, but going back for the spark obviously loses some time. The start of this room is a little tricky, so you saw John take it a little careful. With screw attack, you could kill the enemy and fall through the floor, and that would be no good. Looks like it's been a while since John's collected that missile that way. It was not very good, so... pollsmor having some trouble with the worm. You can kill it in 1 round, but that didn't happen. Pretty nice Mago Cocoon fight by John. It would have been a little faster if he had realized that he killed the enemy on the right side, but it was still pretty good. pollsmor going for the much easier setup here. This one loses like 4 seconds, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but it is 10 times easier. So pollsmor is quite a bit behind, and I think he's also like 7 seconds behind what it looks like, because he has to get a missile later that John already got. What were you doing, John? I have no idea what that was. Maybe he was collecting missiles? I don't know. So they're going to be going for a glitch here. The basics of the glitch is that you confuse the game into warping you downward to the enemy's position. It's hard to explain, so I'm not. Oh, John did the new setup. Sick. That's even more complicated. I'm not going to even begin to contemplate being able to explain that. Oh, sick. So I came up with that strategy a few days ago. And pollsmor going for the slow vanilla strategy. There's a faster setup than that, but pollsmor obviously does not use it. It's faster than the one John uses too, I think, but I'm not sure. I've not timed. Oh no, pollsmor messed up that puzzle room. So I should probably mention that crate area is very unforgiving. Ridley area is very unforgiving. If you make small mistakes, you can lose a ton of time. So that one small mistake that pollsmor made cost him like 15, 20 seconds. It's a lot of time. If you mean the spark in the really long room at the bottom of Ridley, that doesn't cost any time if you fail it. So I don't even go for that spark because I don't like it and it's not slower. Yeah, it could be a farming strat. Ooh, pollsmor messed up speed jump too. Yikes! Every time you fail that, it's 10 seconds. It's a 4-frame window to get that jump, so it's not fun to fail. And that's the intended method too. And another failure. Yikes! John missing the missile there. I don't know how that happened. All right, third try speed jump for pollsmor. It's a dumb trick. It's weird that the speed strategy is the only strategy. So looks like John had just gotten no missiles. That was a weird mistake, but he got no super missiles, so he has to farm speed. kind of a nice thing anyway, since you get some missiles from Speedway, and he was mentioning that he didn't have a lot, so. Didn't get very many missiles in it, though. So John's going to be going into Brinstar to clean up what he didn't, and then go into Turia. There's not a lot of interesting stuff that's happening. All the platforming is fairly simple. There's a bit of RNG, but it's a stretch to call this difficult or interesting, to be honest. And honestly, there's nothing for a long time for pollsmor to be able to catch up. And pollsmor doing really bad strategies isn't helping. Oh, what just happened there? I'm confused. Did John mess up that spark? I mean, I guess you can lose some time in this part of the game. Please, John. So John didn't do that strategy properly. You're supposed to freeze the other Ripper on the way up. Yeah, remember when I said that this part of the game was really easy? John is not making it look that. This is extremely sloppy on his part. We'll see if pollsmor can make it look easier. There are quite a few ways of getting that spark. The way pollsmor did it is probably my favorite. Just placing a bomb and then going back. pollsmor also not knowing how to handle that pattern. I swear, no one does except for me, and I don't even do this route. Yeah, so pollsmor's movement through here was quite a bit better than John. So he's going to pick up a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Pollsmor starts to pick up a lot of time. And this is what happens when you don't play the game at all and don't practice. You can have a bunch of natural talent, but it doesn't mean anything If somebody just grinds the game harder, they'll beat you eventually. So John's going to be entering Torian around 36-0. We'll see when pollsmor enters to judge how far ahead John is. So this part of the game is just pure RNG. The spawns are random and the drops are random. So it looks like pollsmor is about a minute and 15 behind, which is a considerable amount of time. Looks like John is going to choose to burn these super missiles. I would save them personally because I like to have to make sure I have 6 for the next room. But it's mostly personal preference. Looks like he got them. And then, oh. So John entered his menu accidentally. I think that's why he got grabbed there. Getting grabbed is obviously not good, but I'm curious as to how that mistake happened. What? John, what's happening, dude? What's happening? Oh my god. I mean, if this was a PB attempt, his run would be absolutely disqualified, no question about it. You cannot you can't have that sort of thing in an official run. I don't know how it's going to play out in the race. Probably not going to be a big deal, but I'm not a judge, so we'll see. Meanwhile, he's still very far ahead of pollsmor, who's having some troubles with Mother Brain. Using his funny strategy because he has a bad keyboard. I mean, if this was submitted to the leaderboards, it would get rejected because you're not allowed to have any sort of pausing during the game. It has to be a clean, I don't know the word for it, but start to finish, you can't have interruptions, no emulator functions or anything like that. But for this race, I don't think it warrants a disqualification or a loss or anything like that. That, to me, seems excessive. So John has a choice of healing or skipping the heal here. Since he's so far in the lead, and this run's kind of a mess, I would just heal. Yeah, it looks like he's skipping the heal. Luckily, he noticed that the pirate was on the left. That can be dangerous if you're not expecting. Usually, he's going to be on the right side. Looks like John's going to go for the slower setup here instead of doing the having the pirates kill. So it's like a, I want to say half a second to a second, but it's new, so I don't remember exactly. Now, pollsmor here should absolutely heal. He's not going to win by playing well. Yeah, he has to count on John making a mistake, so healing is the correct choice. John messed up faster slice there. Honestly, not a whole lot's happening in Suitless. It's a pretty it's fun to play because it's relaxing, but honestly, not much is happening here. Just easy platforming and pretty much easy trick. Looks like that's the second wall jump John's failed. John doesn't want to mess up too many wall jumps. I missed a bit of the stream, but if you mess up too many wall jumps in certain spots, you just die because pirates instantly. If you don't heal anyway. You know, I cannot disagree with you, John. You are playing pretty badly right now. But thankfully, pollsmor is playing even worse. I think his end time actually does matter here. But what is pollsmor doing? Like, pollsmor was asking me before the race about what he could do to impress me, and he is impressing me by his poor gameplay. So, congratulations, pollsmor. So I think it takes 2 hits for John to die and 1 to the lightning on the last round. So he has to be careful for that, but it's not exactly too difficult to make sure you don't die. That blast pattern was a real troll for John. Completely random fight. That was just like obnoxious though. Kind of fun how it synced up for a bit. pollsmor just starting the fight while John gets his suit back. John got the two block spark, which looks kind of neat. Happens when you're really high up the ceiling. If you're too high up, you bonk the ceiling, which can be really tough. Like you spark left and you just bonk the ceiling. It makes no sense, and it's so. And it has happened to me way more times than it should have, honestly. What is that movement? That's some weird movement by John. I don't know that I understand it. Like, you can understand how people make certain mistakes, but that I don't know that. Something that pollsmor could have done to impress me is get that super missile late, because no one does it, but unfortunately, time has passed. This has probably been mentioned before, but This part of the game is just so dumb and boring. Having to go all the way to power bombs and then having to go all the way back to the power bombs near like, why just add unnecessary filler to the game? Is so dumb. So John is going to be performing what I think is the last glitch of. He's going to try to use frozen enemy hitboxes to go through the door here. And that's going to allow him to save a power bomb and use an alternate. All of the glitches in this game pretty much have to do with Ice Beam and how wonky it is. It was just not well programmed, probably. I wonder what Nintendo thinks, if they've ever seen the glitches in this game. Maybe they knew about some of them, I'm not sure. I think in Fusion they patched some of the glitches that took us years to find, so they were obviously aware of some things. So, John hasn't taken any unnecessary damage here. I hope that he goes for the Shine Spark in the lower ship. It's a pretty precise Shine Spark, but I know that John did practice at one point, and I want to. He historically has not had very good luck with avoiding getting hit, and you need all the health you can get for the Shine Spark to work. pollsmor doing the same route, I assume. He's gotten hit, so he can't attempt the Shine Spark. Let's see if John goes for it. Oh, it looks like he's setting it up. Ah, he's a little late, unfortunate. It's pretty tight because you don't have a lot of time since you have to heal through the John going for glass tube. This is one of the tricks that you only have one shot at, so it's important. He's still going to be in a massive lead even if he misses it, but it's poor form to miss this trick. And he nails it nice. If you fail the trick, there's no good way to get the energy tank as a backup, so you really just have to do a different. I think it loses like maybe 12, 13 seconds or something like that if you've attempted it and have to do the alternate route. It's a lot of time. But John still has a very comfortable lead over pollsmor, so he shouldn't be worrying here. And pollsmor healed. He's not supposed to heal with this route. He skips this one, but I guess he's not used to it. He does have an extra power bomb to use, though. So I guess there's... So having that extra power bomb and doing that different route avoids having to do a stupid shine spark chain here. You just go through and don't have to worry about it. The disadvantage is that the route isn't necessarily faster, and you don't get to use any extra power bombs, so it's going to be a little slower. But the consistency is pretty nice. That's why John does it. And pollsmor, I'm assuming, but I haven't talked to pollsmor about it that much. John and getting the space jump really easily. So pro tip for those, if you're new to the speedrunning of this game, don't hold forwards while doing the Torian space boost. If you hold forward, you can grab ledges, and you want to completely avoid that. I've seen numerous runners do that until they were told that good piece of advice of not holding forward during the space boost. Not really intuitive, but I mean, it works. I don't know if it's just me, but apparently pollsmor's screen is frozen. Not sure. Maybe somebody in chat can tell me if it's just me. John trying for the standing spark and realizing he couldn't get it, so he went for the easy. Oh, there's pollsmor. Yeah, John has been making weird mistakes all over his run. Like, these are really not characteristic of him. I wonder what's happened. His endgame's usually really smooth, and he doesn't make any real movement errors, but At this point, it's not really much of a race. pollsmor is just so far behind that that part of the commentary is dead, to be honest. So John did a space boost on the way to the super missile and missile. I think that saves about a second or so. He goes through the ones on the way back too, and that saves a dubious amount of time. It is half a second sometimes, but you have to do it properly. Saving time with space boost is weird because usually you have to position yourself at the exact right spot to save the proper amount, and that can be tricky because you're moving really quickly and it's hard to judge your position and all that. pollsmor's movement isn't looking too bad. It's not perfect, but I think that's mostly because he doesn't play this much rather than it being worse than normal or something. What happened there? That's gonna lose pollsmor some time. I don't know if he went for this base boost or if he failed something there, but whatever it was, he had to do extra room transitions, and that caused him a whole chunk of. Nice power bomb underneath the platform there. If it was Hundo hard, it might be worth getting, but there's really no use for extra power bombs in this route. What is John doing? He thought it was hard mode. I don't know, actually. Wait, no. What was he doing? That's not even a hard mode mistake. What did John do? I don't even know. Oh, he missed the spark. Okay. That is really weird. I've never seen that one before. That was a pretty nice turnaround. That was like a perfect grab from pollsmor. So if I had to guess, I think John's on a 111 pace, something like that. Which would mean pollsmor's on a 112 pace, 113 maybe. It's hard to say because he's just so far behind. This part of the run is just so boring. I mean, you're doing the same movement and platforming as we did like 20 minutes ago or something. I mean, why? Just like really bad game development practice, in my opinion. And even though I love the game, you have to see the faults in the game too. So. I've complained about it before too, and I will complain about it again because it is just so stupid. If only we had a way to get a power bomb early, but it's really unlikely. I don't think it's gonna happen. The glitches we have and the way walls work make it really limiting as to what we can. So probably some form of memory corruption is what we'd need. I don't know if you can warp with the two pirates at the same position. That would be something to try out, I guess. But in a real run, it's hard to finagle the pirates to where you want them to be. And with the beams we have, it is very difficult to kill them quickly. Very difficult to hit them without. You have to kind of do a specific kind of shot, and it's awkward. John's going to be coming up to the final boss here. I wonder if he's going to try doing double super. I think that's new meta. So he might not do it, especially with his problems with the crate fight. But maybe we'll see pollsmor do it. Pollsmor, don't disappoint me. Do double super. If you do one thing that impresses me, it will be that. John messing up space jump, messing up the spark space jumping tank. It's always a little unfortunate to mess. John's end game has been really, really sloppy. This is honestly the worst I've seen him play in a very long time in the end game. Ooh, this mecha fight is not shaping up to be good either. Last super. That was not good. Mecha can be hard sometimes too, if he gives you bad patterns. But I think John just tanked missiles. It was the supers was probably his. And you lose a little bit of time later too. Obviously because you're not able to use supers against the work bot. pollsmor doing the much easier shine spark to the loses 5 seconds, but is very comfortable. So Mecha's coming up for pollsmor. Let's see if he tries to impress me or not. He was looking for something to impress me, so it would be really, really weird if he didn't. But, you know, knowing Pols, he will not impress me. While John Coach comes up to finish this game. Oh, and now he didn't go for the doubles. Never mind. And this fight's not looking too good either. Still better than John's run, though. Or John's mecha fight. So John finishes with a 1:11:23 or something. I wasn't looking. So I wonder if John's going to come in for an interview. pollsmor definitely won't after he's done the run. pollsmor does not talk very much. So. I think we'll see John here for commentary, though. I mean, pollsmor can definitely speak. I've heard him speak before. He's just shy or weird or both. Looks like John's coming in. As pollsmor finishes the game with a 1:12. So congratulations to John for winning and pollsmor for finishing. Hey John.
Hi Sam.
So, explain to me why everything was so sloppy.
Mostly I blame the fact that it's about 3,000 degrees in this room, so my hands were just sticking to the controller constantly.
Is that all?
Well, no, but it certainly didn't help. I also really want to know why Magnifier only opens in Torian.
So my guess is that it has something to do with how you press the select button, because it's always a little weird how we have to press it, and Torian specifically, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. That was just funky. Like, that was a really solid Torian until I got grabbed because my screen was magnified.
Yeah, that was all kinds of hilarious.
That was so stupid. But, I mean, honestly, the goal was A, win, obviously, and B, get the stupid ice clip trick. And I did both, so whatever. You
did both very, very easily and convincingly, so...
Yeah, I was a little surprised I got that first try, considering is it a frame perfect unmorph? I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it's frame perfect, yeah. You have an easier visual cue than the bomb method, though. So.
Yeah, for sure. So.
But it is very cool, and it is my trick, so.
Well,
yeah, it was nice to see it.
I mean, it was so smooth, too. I was so happy that it went as well as it did.
Yeah, you did more to impress me than pollsmor did, which is kind of fun.
I mean, Paul, I saw his SRL time. Yeah.
Yeah, it really, his run, loads of things didn't go right for him. A lot didn't go right for you either. You had a lot of weird mistakes, but.
I mean, most of my mistakes, I think, were generally just like sloppy play outside of, the last missling criteria and Brinstar Super.
And Craig.
That was the controller and the stickiness and the heat.
I mean, it is still a mistake.
Like, let me be clear. I'm not good at Kraid anyway, but I'm not that bad at grade.
Not normally, no. I was even saying
Like-
that your grade fights are usually pretty decent. These.
Yeah, like they're decent. They're not always great, but they're decent. That was just not even close. That was just like I could not move my thumb off of the A button. I need to get like a pry bar to get it.
Yeah. So, do you know what matches are coming up next? I think there's a four-way race tomorrow at noon.
Yep. Let me pull it up. I have it here real quick. Tomorrow we've got at noon, we've got Whale versus Noxious Nick, and we've got Destructor versus Scotty.
Oh, those are going to be some interesting races. I hope. Who's commentating that? Did anybody submit?
I signed up.
Oh, that'll be fun then. I'm not going to be able to commentate, but that's
Bummer. Yeah, and then also tomorrow we've got Eagle versus Boxmeister.
a lot of zero mission happening tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of zero mission tomorrow. So,
Yeah, I think that just about covers it, though. I don't think. Do you have anything to add?
no, the run was pretty bad, but such
I
is
mean,
life.
You won. Who cares, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you won very convincingly. Have you ever seen Secretariat's last race? I think it was the Kentucky Derby where he just dominated every other. That's pretty much what happened.
All right.
Am I the only one who's seen that race?
Probably.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you later.
Bye.